Revitalizing economy, President Bola Tinubu inaugurates Presidential Economic Coordination Council. Federal High Court Abuja voids Edo PDP governorship primary. Appeal courts reinstate Martin Emehule and 24 other members of Rivers State Assembly.
Good evening and a warm welcome to the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. I am Vivian Ezadifi. President Tinubu has inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council as another strategy to revitalize the country's economy. State House correspondent Musbah Danwahab gives us an update on the just concluded inauguration.
Thank you very much. This is another moment indicating the interest of the President Bola Tinubu, to again improve the economy of the country. Yes, the economy is gradually improving with some indices to show for it, but Nigerians and indeed the government have agreed that the economy is not where it's supposed to be yet, going by the stature and status of the country, that this is supposed to be the biggest economy on the continent. And so the President has brought on this council, recognizing the impact of the private sector to make contribution towards revitalizing the economy and making it greater and greater. And that was what has led to this committee targeting improved economy, creating job opportunities and other economic opportunities for Nigeria to get better. And this council is looking like a very powerful council, including top entrepreneurs in the country. Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu, all of them are in this committee, and including some members of the construction and manufacturing industry. So we expect this committee to really get to work and improve the economy. Some of them spoke to journalists at a press briefing after the inauguration.
The President has just inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council, and that is a body that is made up of the President's Economic Management Team, the legislature represented by the leaders of the National Assembly, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, as well as, very importantly, the subnationals represented by the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, and of course, the elite of the private sector. This plan is a means of trying to stabilize the economy and get business growing again. We know what has happened since the macroeconomic measures which were necessary and which have been implemented in a determined and consistent manner. They led to elevated costs both for industry and for individuals.
We'll start meeting immediately, and I can assure you, you'll see a lot of changes coming. I know that everybody is in a hurry, but we have what it takes to turn around this economy. Things are not going to be bad. We are now just we've gone to the bottom, but we're going to rise up and make sure that we make every single Nigerian proud to be a Nigerian.
And so, like Aliko Dangote said, there's going to be some recommendations from the private sector on how to quickly get the economy back on the right path to ensure that Nigerians and indeed the country get better for it.
Thank you, Musbah, for that update. Moving on now, still on, the federal government has redoubled effort in strengthening and improving Nigerians' human capital with special focus on healthcare, education and the labor force. Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja, stated this at a strategic validation and stakeholders engagement workshop in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Reason being, this is a program with very long-term results framework.
This is not just a platform for validation, but a space for collaboration, learning, and growth, as achieving the objectives of human capital development programs through improved access to quality education, enhancing healthcare services, and providing skills training and employment opportunities cannot be done in isolation.
It's a workshop that is meant to appraise all the participants about what is new in the 2.0 program. And luckily we have a few focal persons that are part of the 1.0 program. So it's a learning session. You know, what were the successes achieved in the last 8 years? What could we do to make it better? And whether we need to expand the scope of the focal areas, being health, job creation, and education.
At this engagement, strategic inputs of these stakeholders will help to shape policies that are inclusive, equitable, and sustainable, as well drive systemic change.
Yeah, so we are hoping that this will serve as that long-term strategy that will steer the country. And if you look at what we do at NEC, we're going to advocate for both the federal and state governments to prioritize it more, allocate more resources, while at the same time tabling out a guide, that federal government and state governments can take, to localize into what works for them.
And by sharing insights, best practices, and innovative ideas, can identify effective pathways to achieving the set goals through creation of a comprehensive and sustainable framework for human capital development that will benefit generations to come. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
So judiciary now, a federal high court, Abuja division has invalidated the People's Democratic Party's primary election that produced Asue Ighodalo as party's candidate in September governorship election in Edo State. The presiding judge, Justice Inyang Eko, held that the PDP's primary held on February 22 failed to comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, the guidelines for the conduct of the poll, and the party's constitution. Justice Eko held that the plaintiffs, through the exhibits tendered in court, were able to establish their case against the defendants. The court posited that from the exhibit presented by the PDP, it was discovered that the returning officers who prepared the results sheets only sat down in a place to manufacture the outcome of the poll. Justice Eko ruled that the exclusion of 381 delegates, including the plaintiffs, were against the provisions of the law. The court equally held that though INEC, the first defendant, filed a memorandum of appearance in the suit, it was unfortunate that the commission did not file any process in the matter. 3 aggrieved ad hoc delegates in representative capacity on behalf of the 378 others sued the Independent National Electoral Commission, the PDP, its national secretary, and the vice chairman South as first to fourth defendants. Still from the Temple of Justice, the Court of Appeal has overturned the decision of the lower court which sacked Martin Amehuli and 24 other members from their positions in the Rivers State House of Assembly. The 3-man panel of justices led by Justice Jim Olukayode-Bada in their ruling dismissed the ex parte order given by the High Court of Rivers State sitting in Port Harcourt on May 10, 2024, stopping Martin Amehuli from parading himself as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It also dismissed the decision of the State High Court stopping 24 other members of the Assembly from accessing the complex or carrying out any such legislative assignment in the name of the Rivers State House of Assembly. the appellate court in determining the issue of jurisdiction of the lower court to hear and grant an ex parte order held that the Federal High Court is exclusively and mandatorily the only court that can hear such matters and not a state high court, citing section 273 of the Constitution. The Speaker, Victor Kojombo, and 2 others are defendants in the matter. ECOWAS member states are set to conclude their submissions to their principles ahead of the 65th ordinary session of the Authority of Heads of States and Government Summit and are expected to take necessary action on political and economic development in the West African sub-region and the Sahel. Several issues were raised at the opening of the ministerial regional meeting convened in Abuja. Garbanata Allah reports.
It is an engaging and constructive dialogue at the 92nd Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers meeting held here in Abuja, which equally had in attendance the Chief Justice of Nigeria, who is the chairman of the ECOWAS Judicial Council. Ministers of the ECOWAS member states are now expected to conclude their reports on the successes recorded so far on the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, the progress made in enhancing regional security and establishing needed funds for the ECOWAS standby force. Notably, reports will be presented to the ECOWAS Authority on social intervention programs for citizens of member states, according to the chairman of the Council of Ministers.
We will consider presentations on the memorandum relating to the recommendations of the ECOWAS Judicial Council, a memorandum on the state of implementation of the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, as well as the outcome of the 28th Yaba Ministerial Committee meeting, amongst others.
President of ECOWAS Commission expressed appreciation to Nigeria for the successful hosting of other member states, while stressing on the financial status of the institution, and urged member states to remain dedicated in pursuing ECOWAS' mandate of achieving peace, unity, and economic prosperity.
The developmental goal of our integration is increasingly being questioned with the current dire crisis of food insecurity, inflation, violent extremism, and terrorism, forced displacement, youth bulge, and unemployment, to name just a few. It is becoming increasingly evident that we need to further pool our resources and pursue collective self-reliance for the benefit of our populations.
The regional bloc also received a positive feedback from the Republic of Guinea to rescind its decision to exit the community and return to democratic rule, while no framework or response on the return of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. However, a special session will be organized to address other salient issues that affects the ECOWAS community. In Abuja, Garb Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
The Sultan of Sokoto and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, says Friday, 5th of July 2024 is the first day for Muslims to look for the new moon of the Muharram 1446 Hijrah. A statement signed by Professor Sambo Wali Janado, Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council Sokoto, says Friday is the 29th of Dhul Hijjah 1445 Hijrah. The sighting of the new moon should be reported to the nearest district or village head for onward communication to the Sultan. We'll bring you more reports after this timeout. Stay with us.
What is fake news? A false information with no verifiable source presented as true story on media platforms with the sole intention of causing injuries, chaos, and disaffection between persons, groups, or countries. Fake news facilitates extremism. Fake news creates panic and distrust. Fake news breeds hatred. Fake news kills. Don't joke with it. Don't be in a rush. Verify your sources and facts. It is better late than fake. This message is brought to you by NTA NEWS24.
Welcome back. The Federal University of Health Sciences, Azare, says its synergy with the University of Miami Health Sciences is targeted at addressing the full range of questions in cancer research and also eliminates cancer health disparities through the development of clinical and other educational activities. At an international convening in research and collaboration in Abuja, oncologists and key players responding to national cancer care speak on prospects of such partnership to health institutions across board. Olusheye Adiabo has details.
According to World Health Organization, cancer kills around 10 million people a year and is still a leading cause of death globally. In the data from Global Cancer Observatory, there are more than 100,000 new cases of cancer annually in Nigeria, with the national prevalence of cancer cases and resulting deaths. The leadership of Federal University of Health Sciences, Azare, says it's been more than 3 years of strengthening efforts with professionals abroad on promoting the cause for cancer research through knowledge sharing, with a target of changing the worrisome state of managing the disease in Nigeria and beyond.
The next line of action is to continue our research collaboration, training, both at undergraduate, postgraduate and postdoctoral level, which we have already started, and to strengthen these to involve other research institutions and other universities in this country.
To expand upon here is bringing multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary care to really affect change on the individual patient level. We're doing that through educational initiatives by teaching gynecologic oncologists here in Nigeria.
There's a clinical trial that's going to be launched in Zaria, Amabelo University, and also other humanities, so going beyond just basic science and clinical research.
With the team leveraging transatlantic collaboration in cancer research and management, representatives of health institutions across Nigeria and players committed to advancing the fight against cancer applaud the initiative and assure of active participation.
The President, that's His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is always willing to support such kind of initiative, and it is part of this because of the surge of cancer, generally in the country, that he established the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, and we are ever willing to collaborate with Federal University of Health, Azare.
I hope to see more universities come into the network, more research and clinical trials, so that all the groundbreaking innovative treatments that we have for cancer that are existing in the world today, we can test it in our population.
So research is here to stay, and we hope going forward that government will increase funding in terms of research.
Guests at this meeting are hopeful of a better approach to elevating the quality of services in cancer care and ending medical tourism. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiabo, NTA News.
Over 38 million Nigerian farmers will benefit from a crop-to-cash initiative aimed at supporting smallholder farmers in solving most of their challenges. This was disclosed at the relaunch of the National Hotline for Agriculture held in Abuja. Suleiman Abdulwahab reports.
Crop-to-Cash, a non-governmental organization, has been assisting Nigerian smallholders farmers with their immediate needs. According to Michael Ogundari, the founder of Crop-to-Cash and his team, farmers can only put a call to them through a national hotline agriculture.
You can ask me any question about growing your crops and improving your farm. What would you like me to help you with today?
Are you sure? The work that we're doing at Crop-to-Cash involves working with a lot of different partners. We are working directly with the GSMA Innovation Fund, and they are also connected to the different telecommunications providers that we have in the country, of course, which are also linked to the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. So our work beyond, just getting connected to the telcos themselves, we're also connected across the entire agricultural value chain to the big players working in making sure that, smaller farmers can get high quality inputs, and all the services that they need.
It's super amazing each time they come out with a new innovation, and to see tangible results, and to see that these farmers are actually benefiting from it, and they're not just launching something that is not useful for the farmers.
There are different reasons for food scarcity, and sometimes it's linked to input, sometimes it's linked to weather advisory, not knowing when to plant, what to plant, and then what to apply. But in the long run, if farmers have access to the information they need, quality inputs, and they're able to get all these at a very cheap and low rate, I think it's going to help them actually plant more and ensure that there is high yield and overall less food scarcity.
Many smallholder farmers who have benefited from the ingenuity also expressed by saying they are now great extent farmers, courtesy of Crop to Cash initiative.
At least they have come to my farm now more than 6 times. This year they have come to my farm. They saw my yam farm, over 2 acres of land.
They call on Nigerian farmers to take advantage of the offer to advance and increase their agricultural productivity. In Abuja, Suleiman Abdul-Wahab, NTA News.
To promote financial independence and a proactive response to the scarcity of formal job opportunities, the Nigerian Association of Agricultural Students, University of Abuja chapter, is encouraging students of the institution to embrace various entrepreneurial endeavors to carve out opportunities amidst economic uncertainty. This was at the Entrepreneurship Festival held at the University of Abuja to network opportunities and inspire an environment where new ventures can take roots. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
Recent reports indicate that a large percentage of Nigeria's youth, despite possessing varying levels of education and skills, are unable to secure gainful employment. This is due to a mismatch between educational outcomes and industry demands, as well as lingering impact of economic downturns. Nigerian Association of Agricultural Students, University of Abuja chapter, is not bothered by the situation and is encouraging students to embrace entrepreneurship skills as the way out of the woods.
So the essence of this event is actually to get students to have what they earn, a source of income while they are working, while they are learning in school.
We want students to be able to use not just their degree, they should a skill that they can develop. They should be able to use it to make money.
Resource persons at the workshop have pieces of advice for youths seeking to start up businesses.
The first thing I tell young people to do is that don't just be on social media because you want to see what other people are doing. Be on social media to see content and businesses you can dive into. Your phone is not in your hand for nothing. You can use your phone to start.
Entrepreneurs are actually the ones who save us, because for all of the problems humanity faces, it's an entrepreneur that creates a solution for it. And by creating such solutions, that is how you earn an income.
Money don't just go to people. Money go to those who can create value. It is to identify pains around their communities and design specific solutions to those pains.
By harnessing innovation, resilience, and a proactive spirit, these aspiring entrepreneurs believe they are not only forging their own path to economic independence, but also catalyzing potential solutions to long-standing socio-economic challenges. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
Now to plastic challenges. Over the years, plastics have found their way into virtually all spheres of life, occupying homes, offices, events, and livelihoods, only to be discarded as wastes and an unending danger to the environment and all lives on Earth. The world is on course to do away with this danger, and Nigeria is on the marks for the takeoff. This is illustrated with the targeted ban, this time of single-use plastics by the federal government. Environment correspondent Mina Daniels will tell us what this means and what lies ahead.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is TJ.
I just saw you squeeze a cup now.
single-use plastic drop in the bin. Do you know the effect of that to health and the environment? Do you have any idea? Single-use plastics are plastic products that can be used only one time, after which they are disposed of. Plastic bags, straws, spoons, bottles and cups are examples of common single-use plastics.
Nigeria produces 1.3 million metric tons of plastic annually. So, but the waste of it is 2.5 metric tons of plastic annually. And in all of this, Lagos is responsible for about 870,000 metric tons. What do? Nigeria, at the same time again, is the largest producer of plastics in Africa. The sad side is that 70% of this plastic end up in the dump site, in the river and everything and all. Federal Ministry of Environment ban it. If you go there now, they are all selling pure water around there. There are almost 168 million sachets of pure water consumed in Nigeria every day.
To control the damaging effects of these non-biodegradable materials, the federal government has announced a ban on single-use plastics in its ministries, departments and agencies.
The Federal Ministry of Environment proposed and Council approved that a ban is placed on the use of on-the-go plastics, what we know as single-use plastics.
Well, like TJ, most Nigerians are guilty of using single-use plastics. But however, with a targeted ban by government, it could actually turn around to be the beginning of a national action against single-use plastics. So why don't you look for a healthy alternative now rather than later? In Abuja, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Vivian Izadifi.
Is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow under digital economy for banks not to be dispensing